Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So this is a video after the one I've just done, which is on the four elements. If you haven't watched this one yet, I suggest you watch this one because it's really interesting. It talks about how these four elements are living. Well, three of the four are living. One of them's a dead entity. One of them I refer to as Lucifer, the light bearer, which is fire, which destroys and kills anything in its way. But all these three work together to create this world that we live in. It's really worth watching. It kind of changed the view, the way I see the world, to be honest with you, when I look at this theory, which has a lot of evidence. But yeah, it's definitely worth watching. If you haven't watched it, go watch it now. Cheers, guys. Okay, so also as well, it does. I think it does help if you like videos, because I'm not like begging or anything, but it does help get the message out a bit further, because the algorithm. But it is up to you. You don't have to like it. If you don't normally like it and you just comment, that's cool. But whatever. So I just searched our world 2022, right? And the other day I talked about how our world, we shouldn't be living like how we're living. And talking about Lucifer, the light bearer, I mean, the internet itself is another entity, isn't it? Another entity that's been introduced to us in the 21st century, in between the 20th and the 21st century. Before that, there was no such thing in people's minds. It didn't exist. So it's an entity, and it is, again, light. And the other theory I have is this is all Lucifer. This is all the beast system, the smartphones, everything we use in the TVs, the sigils. It's all based on Lucifer, the light bearer. Whether it's the same entity, fire, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not Lucifer. Maybe fire is Lucifer, and this is another entity altogether, and the internet is an entity. Electricity, again, another dead entity. These are all dead entities. So the real living entities I talked about was the earth, fire, and the earth, water, and the air. Stuff like fire, electricity, and all this stuff created by man is dead entity. They say Satan is trying to replicate everything God created. Well, this is what's happening right now with what you're seeing with the metaverse and the internet and everything, right? So what we're using right now, me communicating with you, talking to you, I'm using the beast system. You're also using the beast system, watching my videos, or even if you do videos, you're using the beast system. We're doing it for good, but of course the beast system's not on our side, so we've got to be very, very careful. Yeah? When you've got the TV as well, it started with the TV and the radio and everything. First it started with noise. Again, the radio, is it the same entity? Is it all like electricity? Is that an entity in itself? Is mass another entity? Are these all dead entities that the devil, that Satan, or whoever you want to call these Satanist dark cultists, are trying to replicate? Trying to replicate what the natural elements and entities of this world. There's probably more natural entities that we don't know about, that they've deprived of us of, while mirroring what we probably once had. Maybe we were. There was have you ever heard of a movie called City Beauty? What's it called? Green. Oh, I forgot the name of it now. It's a French movie. Let me just try and find it a minute, guys. So yeah, it's a French movie. It's only a comedy, but it's called La Belle Verte. And this movie got banned. And what it showed was, it showed how people from another world, I suppose, was able to communicate from a distance through the Earth's elements. And they didn't have TVs and all that stuff because they didn't need them. So is this a mirror of what we once had? Are they trying to create a mirror and get us used to this internet that they're trying to get us to think that we need, when we don't, when once upon a time we were probably capable of so much more? And they've created all these frequencies or whatever and destroyed our natural abilities and made us rely on all this. It's just a theory, but it's quite a strong theory here, actually back up quite rapidly, because the world we live in, it shouldn't be how it is. We should not be living like this. I should be able to communicate with you somehow. How cool that would be without having to use any of this. Because when you look at the entities, apart from fire, when you look at these three entities, and maybe there's other entities, like, I don't know, maybe the sun is one. What's powering this world, keeping it warm? It's just, I just find it interesting. But yeah, the world, they've created a false world, a materialistic world, because they've made us rely on giving this dead fiction world, these fake people, these politicians, these kings and queens, give them labels and made us believe that they have power when they don't. They're just men and women like us. So why do they have more power over us when they're just men and women like you? We're all born on this earth. We all live on this earth together. We share this earth. No one should have power over anyone, or even land for that matter. Animals don't own land. They just walk the earth as they please. But we have been coerced into accepting that there's landowners and there's names and labels. We've got to divide everyone, get people into countries, close the borders so you're in a prison. You know, you think about it, guys, we are in prison. We're prisoned in our own countries because we can't just travel freely without showing a passport or anything like that. You know, we should be able to just roam the earth as we please. Well, no, it's because of security and safety, and it's where you belong. You've got to stay here. You know, we're in a prison. That's why they created these countries, to create borders so they can trap you in, so they've got control over you. You know, I see it, like I said it before in previous videos quite a few times, and you guys probably know what's coming. But I'll talk about how I refer to it as playground. Right, you got a group of kids in a playground. One of those groups of kids is a leader of that group, that friendship group. The other kids in that friendship group accept him as the leader because he bosses them around. But outside that friendship group, he's just another kid. He wouldn't dare boss anyone else around, but of course in that group, and that's what this world is. If we come out of the system, we'll realise that none of these leaders and these kings and queens and politicians, presidents, prime ministers are real. They're dead fiction, they're fake. They're only given labels. It's like it's all pretend to keep you under control. You know, animals will just see them as a man or a woman, like they'll see me and you as a man or a woman. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. And it's like names and everything, you know. They're giving names. I'm giving my name, Jack. My name, Jackie. I'm not Jack. That's just my corporate name. You know, that's a corporate name that was given to me. I didn't choose that name. You know, I'd rather be called Live Truth Seeking. To be honest, okay, call me Live Truth Seeking. That's what I'll be called, and somebody call me Live Truth Seeking. That's what I like to be called. But Jack's my corporate name. I'm okay with Jack. You can call me Jack. That's cool. I don't mind. People call me Jack anyway. I'll respond to Jack. But it's my corporate name. It's not my actual name. It's not who I am. They've just given me that label. They label everything. And the reason why they label everything is so they can claim that label. And they can claim ownership. And that's how it works. You know, guys? So we would be able to create, we should be able to roam this earth rather than having all these freaking borders everywhere, right? You know, for example, I know the EU kind of has their own, like, whatever, you know, their own, like, thing, but, you know, some countries, like the UK, you know, you can't just travel from the UK to France on a boat or whatever. You have to be stopped if you get here. It's ridiculous. And it's like, we're getting to the point now where we have this scam taking place the last 2 years, where now country borders are closing and now you can't travel between countries. They're locking you. It's like the French people are now locked in France, for example. They can't escape anywhere else. What the corporation calls France, it's just a piece of land. Like, this is a piece of land. It's all one land. You'll be able to travel it as you want. All these countries and labels were there to control you. That's all it is. Yeah. So I believe we should be able to run the earth as we please. I believe that there is no leader or anything like that. We don't need leaders. We should be self-governing ourselves. We're giving this illusion that we have leaders, kings and queens, and presidents, prime ministers, and that's how it should be. Right? You treat them highly, you know, and they're higher than you, and they have more ownership to land than you, which is a load of crap. That's not what God's about. God gave us equal rights, God-given rights, human rights. But of course, the fuckers in the politicians and the elite and the powers that be and all the secret occult societies and whatever you want to call it, and freaking where are we going? This country here, and a tiny little city-state here, and a tiny little city-state here, and over here, are trying to decide what the future of our world is and how we should all live. They are trying to make us believe that they have rights over us, and they don't. You know, they're trying to play God. And that's what they've done. The New World Order is an old world order. The Great Reset is resetting the world order. Changing reality. That's what I believe. Cheers, guys.